Uh, I'm gonna make a second video about suicide for the reason that I've had so many comments made, and it's a huge issue. In a right world, there would not be any suicide. Suicide is a failure of our nation, each country, and our world. When our nation is making people feel so defective as a human being that they do whatever means of suicide that they do, we're failures, not the person that left. We are failing that we don't reach it. We don't see the signs. We don't look for the signs. We don't acknowledge the signs. And the person that goes felt they had no other choice and were in so much pain that the only thing that they could do is leave the earth. And they're not selfish. They're desperate. They're in pain. They're isolated. They might feel like if their reason for trying to kill themselves is that they're gay, that their parents, they can't tell and their parents won't back them, so they don't have any way to tell anybody. Or if they were dumped by a girl or dumped by a boy or bullied and they felt so defective that they just want out. You have to, I mean, when you're a child, especially, when you're not playing with getting your knees scraped and playing in the jungle gym and doing things that are a normal kid, you don't know what it would take for a child to want to leave the earth. And if they're being sexually abused or it's by a parent, they loathe themselves. They loathe themselves so much that they're in so much pain, and the pain is too big for their little bodies that they go. It's a nation's responsibility, a United States responsibility, a world responsibility that we have a wake-up call. And I hate when we never take any news of the lesson of we lost another one to bullying, we lost another one for gay, we lost another one for whatever, that we do anything to prevent it from the next one from happening. We're a selfish people. And everybody's so worried about their own identity and their own things that they need to get. And because they were abused as a child, what does the world owe them? And they're on their own journey trying to struggle and build things and do whatever, but they never veer to the side and do anything for anyone. And this is where those issues come in. And there's no one person that can do the saving. We all have to take responsibility. And when you have a little kid that comes home and says, they teased me, they tormented me, they whatever, stop texting, stop doing the cooking, stop doing whatever, and pay attention and listen. And if you have a child that happens to be gay, be lesbian, be whatever, that's your child. It doesn't matter. It's not your job to determine where they're supposed to go in the world. You're supposed to assist them and create a healthy adult. And the only job a parent has is to love, nurture, teach, and set a child into having wings from the roots. And my expectations of what I want of a child of mine is that they're happy. That they grow up and they know what love means, and they know what a hug is, and they know what praise is, and they know what thanks is, and they know how to give to other people. I have taught every child in my care how to give to other people. It's the most important thing, because if you're selfish and then you raise selfish children, we keep creating a nation of people that won't walk off the side of the road to help anybody. And I don't know how to fix it. I do know that until we address it and it's up there and people are paying attention, it can't get fixed. And again, that's the reason why my page is up there, because I want my voice, no matter how small it is, to make a difference and to heal one child, to save one life, to get one person to go that sideway out of their way and save the next suicide. And we don't get what happens to make us feel better? is we go, oh, well, that person was selfish, that they left us all with this to deal with. Guess what? Everyone that's suffering in some way failed. They failed the person that left. Because nobody walks off the face of the earth from one single thing. In other words, this has been building and festering, and the bullying got to them, the sexual abuse got to them, the harassment, the fact that they were gay and they couldn't tell. Somewhere they didn't have a support system where somebody would acknowledge who they are and what pain they were in and walk them to help and assistance and support. And as we grow as a nation, trying to build ourselves into something from this mud puddle that we're in, we need to do this. We all need to just walk a little sideways. I do it every single day I'm on the earth. I take a sideway and I make sure that I praise people, thank people, acknowledge people, don't let anybody bully people, don't judge people, and that I use my voice to make a difference. And I don't like when people pick on somebody that quit the world and left everybody behind, and that's cowardly. That's one way to tell yourself the story about it. If it makes you feel better, call them a coward after they're gone. But you know what? The reality is everyone behind does suffer, and they feel guilt and pain, and they feel loss and pain, and they feel helpless and pain. And you know what? That still doesn't mean that they will step out of their way to save the next person. And that's where the problem is. They sit there suffering for their own loss, but they don't ever work on prevention or a way to heal them, to give to some other form of this so that someone else cannot have this fate. We're all here for a purpose. We all matter. Life makes us feel like we're broken. You can be in the highest of high society in Hollywood with movie stars, and if everyone wants you to do cocaine and you don't want to do cocaine, they make fun of you. If if you live on, La 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 Boulevard and you're rich, and you don't do what the Joneses are doing, then they make fun of you, and so you have to feel alienated. There's no escape, no matter who you are and how rich you are and what walk of life you are. There's no escape from judgment, ridicule, any kind of separation, because in this world, even the rich judge the rich, and the poor judge the poor, and the desperate judge the desperate. So no one's escaping anything. But as we create healing and avenues of a way to survive, what our message is to the world on healing is that we have to stop judging each other. We have to stop making people feel defective. And that is for every reason in the book. And nobody is defective if they choose a different avenue than you and I. Because if somebody wants to have 2 men in one house, or 2 women, or 26 cats, that's not, if it's in their walls and they're not causing a problem, that's what they choose for their life. And we have to stop the boundary lines of when our opinion matters and we get a voice, and when we just have to live next to the house next to us. And as a world, because everybody's been broken and everybody's felt defective for generations and generations, and nobody's chosen to go do the work to heal, we just continue to plague the planet with generation after generation of broken people. It's never been worse than it is now. And one of those gigantic reasons is because of internet bullying, cyberbullying, and abuse. And people have the meanest words written across a screen, and they target people right in their heart. And that's what we have to realize, is that those people have to learn how to block, delete, and get away from that. And wherever anybody is getting targeted, they need to go find a source of support and help. And our job as adults is to make sure they get that. And I ache every single time I hear somebody say that that person that left is selfish. They were desperate, they were in pain, and they couldn't figure out a better way. And we have to stop making judgments about what they did and why. We need to take the message of that message, which is prevention. And the only way we're going to ever get to that prevention is if we acknowledge our role, that we have to step aside of our path a little every day and listen and absorb and take time, instead of being selfish and thinking our text is important, what someone said on Facebook is important, this is important, that's important, and we're ignoring the voices of our children. And one more thing, there are adults that also are in exactly that same of pain, and they feel like they're such failures and so broken into adulthood that they also commit suicide. The philosophy is the same, and we don't get to blame the victim. Thank you.